and welcome back to the Emmaus Athletic Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shane Douglas. I am here with Coach Sharon Tomlinson. How are you doing today? I can't believe you just did that. Eric.
I'm doing well, Shane. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I have not registered what you just said to me because Eric just made that horrific noise. No, don't be doing this, man. Eric was literally talking earlier about this noise and how he's really been trying to. He's downloaded it a while ago and he's trying to bring it into the podcast in some way, and he just forced it in. You forced it in, dude. It didn't work. I'm sorry.
Okay. I told him he had to do it a million times, so I guess it's my fault.
Moving on. I hope to not. You got it. I see it turned up there, so I know you're gonna be doing it again sometime. But oh my gosh. Well, that's a great icebreaker. But how are you doing today, Coach Sharon?
No, I'm doing really well. It's been a couple weeks since the season, and I feel like I'm finally getting back into kind of swing of things. I'm catching up on things, that kind of fell behind during the season. So it's been good. Yeah,
that's good. So Coach Sharon Tomlinson here is the head women's basketball coach here at Emmaus Bible College. And are you so you have been part of the team for a while, haven't you?
Mm-hmm, yeah. So I played basketball here when I was in college. So I played from 2014 to 2018.
Yeah.
And then after I graduated, I just stayed on as an assistant coach for all but 1 year. And then, this is my second year as the head coach.
Do you enjoy it?
I do. It's definitely challenging. I feel like there's just, I don't know. It's been a lot. It's been pretty overwhelming, but it's been a really rewarding experience as well.
That is awesome. And we've talked a little bit and we've mentioned a little bit throughout this season that you said that this season has been one of your favorites.
Definitely, yeah. I would say, obviously I was on teams that hung banners and, we had a lot of winning seasons. And so I don't want to discount those years. Those were a lot of fun, very enjoyable. You play basketball because you want to win. So obviously those were pretty significant years. But this was a year that I think the Lord really brought together a group of girls who could go through a season like the one we had and could go through it well and support each other really well the whole season. And so it was really exciting to see them come together and just, get along well and compete the whole season no matter the score. So it was a really enjoyable season. It made my job a little bit easier for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of highlights and things to talk about, and I want to hear more about this season. But before we get into it, let's get to know you a little bit. Sharon, it's us talking. It's just us right here. So, tell me a little bit. Let's start with your story and how you came to know the Lord as your Savior and how He found you.
Yeah, definitely. So, I grew up in Wyoming. You've probably heard from Matthew quite a lot as well. But
one of 10 people that live there. So.
Yep, pretty much. And then we all left. But yeah, we grew up. My dad was in the Air Force, and so we were kind of moving back and forth a little bit growing up. And I grew up in a really stable home, and my parents, taught us about Jesus as early as they could. And so when I was pretty young, I accepted Christ into my life. I would say it's a pretty classic story of, I accepted Christ. I didn't necessarily know really much about my faith or understand too much about it until I got to college. And then that was when I really started growing. The Lord brought me here. I wasn't planning on being at Emmaus. I didn't even know it existed until probably spring of 2014, and it came in the fall. And so, He really just used the experiences here, the people that came into my life. I suffered injuries while I was in college, and so all of that He kind of used to just show me that I'm worth more than, my basketball experience or what I can bring to the team. And it was a really cool experience coming from I played public school basketball in Wyoming, and that's very, I don't know, almost like cutthroat and not the best experience where your whole goal is to just be a starter. And if you're not a starter, you're not cool and nobody likes you and, things like that. And practices are...
That's my life. So, I'm just kidding.
Practices and games and stuff. It wasn't necessarily the most enjoyable experience I had. I had some good coaches, some good teammates, but it just wasn't great. And then I came to college, and I had my coach, Kyle Graw. He really was the first one who showed me that, you can honor Christ through sports, and they're a tool to share the gospel and things like that. And so it was really cool to just come into college and have that experience and have that really shape my life.
That's really cool that you kind of got the opposite perspective perspective in sports from high school to college here at Emmaus. Of it's all about starting and your own success. Well, here at Emmaus and in some other places for sure, but the success is how you glorify the Lord on the field or court, I should say. But no, that's really cool. So you kind of mentioned how like you got to Emmaus, you started learning, you started growing and understanding more about the Bible as well as growing your faith and relationship with the Lord. All great things. What got you to Emmaus?
It's funny. It was actually visiting. We came for the Discover Emmaus weekend,
You were
which
a
just
doer.
happened last
You were a
weekend.
doer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother was looking into colleges, and he was interested in a Bible college. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my life at that point. I was planning on going to probably a state school and moving back home afterwards. And yeah, I really did not have a solid plan for my life.
That's most people in high school. So.
Yep. And then, yeah, Matthew wanted to come visit, and so I came with him. And really the rest is history. I stepped foot on campus, and everyone was so welcoming, and it was just such a great community. We sat in on a couple of classes, and I honestly, at that point, I didn't realize studying the Bible for 4 years was an option. I had never planned on playing basketball in college, definitely never planned on coaching basketball after college. So, yeah, my plans were completely different, and as soon as I got to campus, the Lord kind of closed all the other doors, opened up this one very strongly, and just made it clear that this is where I was supposed to be.
That's really cool. I like that. And for some of you who don't know already from our conversation, how it's gone and the names that have been said, Coach Sharon is related sister to Coach Matt, who is my co-host here on the podcast. So it's really cool to have that connection. And
we offended that he's not here today. I was excited to have him.
He's in Hawaii.
As well. No, he's
I
not.
know he's not. Because if he was in Hawaii, they would have left you behind. She's going. Coach Sharon, I guess, is going on a recruiting trip, strictly recruiting. To Hawaii because that's all they do is play basketball in Hawaii. Actually, I feel like all they do is surf. I don't know, but it's like the misconception, I feel like all you do in Hawaii is surf, and then they probably think all we do in Iowa is farm. So, but we do more. Like we wander. Not much to do, I guess. Just kidding. I really do love Iowa. Like it's like the pride that I can make fun of Iowa, but you can't unless you're from Iowa. Then you can make fun of Iowa too. But I feel like that's how it goes with every state. There's that going on. Okay, so. Got you to Emmaus, your brother, Matt, really big influences. Did you attend the other university with Matt, or you were you came straight from high school while Matt transferred a little bit?
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I came straight from high school.
So as a student, so you've been through the process. You graduated. You were a student, even into a kind of, I guess you could say, a career here at Emmaus now. Before we get into basketball, I just want to I want to hear a little bit about what did you learn and what have you really appreciated in your experience here as just a student or a student athlete as well.
Yeah, I would say a lot of what I learned while being a student athlete. I mean, obviously there's the aspect of you do have to be a lot more organized with your time. You have to be more intentional about just spending time on getting homework done. Just like the time you spend with people is definitely more intentional as well. I think it definitely gave me lessons because I worked in the corporate world actually for a couple of years before getting back here.
Where'd you work?
RSM. We actually have a lot of Emmaus students working there. Yeah. If any of my RSM coworkers are watching this, hello, shout out to you guys.
Because you graduated in computers, right?
I did, yeah. And so I worked there a couple of years. It was a really good experience for me. And then, by the time I came back here, it was another case of the Lord was kind of closing that door and opening the door to be able to get back here. So, but I mean, I think being a student athlete, it really teaches you how to work really hard. It teaches you a lot of leadership abilities that maybe you wouldn't be put in otherwise, just because, I mean, you're in such high pressure situations, high stress situations, and you kind of have to learn things on the fly a lot of the times with sports. And then obviously, I mean, it's definitely helped me learn how to coach and kind of be a leader on the team in that aspect. And the best part about like being at Emmaus while doing that is just the Bible, the gospel, Christ is integrated so much into every aspect of what you're doing while here. And so it's a very natural transition into the workforce, into the corporate world, back at Emmaus coaching here. Is just like you learn how to really honor Christ in what you're doing and share the gospel in what you're doing as well.
That's really cool. No, that's I've never heard you talk about that, but that's a really cool perspective of how like you have taken the knowledge and everything from Emmaus and what you've learned as a student and student athlete into the corporate world and being able to advance the gospel in that way. And I guess that is like our mission here at Emmaus is to impact the world for Christ, one of the missions and stuff. But that's really cool. And this, well, you don't really get this a lot. Maybe you do. I don't know this. There has to be a statistic out there. But you were a student here at Emmaus, and now you're coaching at Emmaus. So yeah, you've been through the process. You get to coach the girls up. Like I feel like the girls can't go to you, be like, you don't know what it's like to be like a student. Like actually, I do. Yes. So has that helped you in coaching or like mentoring your student athletes on your team?
I mean, yeah, I would say in a sense it does, just because I understand a lot of like just the culture of Emmaus as well. I understand, when Winterfest week comes around, I'm kind of scheduling practices so that they can go to events and things like that. But yeah, it definitely helps that I've been a more recent student just because a lot of stuff that I went through is a little bit more relatable than if I were, a student like 30 years ago or something like that. So yeah, it's been helpful just even talking about like the social dynamic of the school and trying to help girls through that, especially the freshmen as they're coming in, for sure. I
love that. And earlier you were talking about the students this year and how they're just perfect for the team. And I kind of want you to like kind of get into a little bit of the highlights, a little bit of the season, and talk more about how these girls were just perfect for this type of season. And bring them up, be like, this is why they, encourage them, I guess, build them up, put them up on the pedestal for like right now, I guess, just to really shout them out, to give them the credit that they deserve for being the leaders that they are.
For sure. Yeah. I would want to start first off by saying, I think the school as a whole, like, it was really cool to see just the amount of support for athletics in general this year, not just for our basketball team, but I feel like, as we came into the year, we kind of set the theme within the athletics department as one Emmaus, and we wanted to be a very unified department within the coaches, within all the athletes, and that was something that we talked about at the beginning of the year and just carried through the year, and I just feel like that was truly the theme for the year, and everyone embraced it, and it was cool to see all the sports just supporting each other, whether it was the soccer team running with the cross-country runners at the 1 meet or being the, all the people who were the front of the student section and leading the cheers and or working at the table for some of the games and being ball boys and things like that. So it was really cool to see the support just within the student body.
That's really cool.
Not just the athletes, but the student body as a whole came out and they supported all year. And it's, kind of hard to do when you have losing seasons, but they were still very supportive of the team, and I really appreciate that. So, but yeah, as far as the team goes, we kind of came into this year knowing it was going to be a little bit more difficult. We graduated 4 seniors last year. They were kind of the core of the program up until that point, and so we knew that we were losing Kia Riley, Corey Hunter, a lot of our scoring, a lot of our defense, our main point guard. So it was a lot kind of walking out the door. So we knew it was going to be a difficult year. We kind of sat down, had realistic expectations that we set. We were hoping, maybe we could be kind of the middle of the pack. That was kind of the goal. And then injuries happened, and we had to kind of sit down again and understand that, we're not going to be the middle anymore. We're probably going to be pretty close to the bottom. But I think one of the coolest things was at the beginning of October, we had sat down as a team and we had set goals. We had gone through this preseason together, and we were at the point where it was like, okay, this is, we kind of know each other. We know what maybe we're capable of. And so we sat down and set team goals. And all of the goals stayed the same from when we thought we were going to be, you know, kind of up there to once those injuries happened. Like, the goals stayed the same. We wanted to honor Christ in the way we played. We wanted to share the gospel in the way we played. We wanted to be good sports and put ourselves in a position to win the sportsmanship award. Obviously, it's just an award, so, you know, if you don't get it, it's not that big of a deal. But we figured
you get ticked off, you start fights because I want to be sportsman.
How dare they not give it? No. But we figured if we were accomplishing those other goals, that would set us up to win the award. And that was kind of, what would show us that we did it well. And so, those goals stayed the same. We didn't have to shift and say, okay, you know, we had this goal to win 20 games and now we have to take a step back or whatever. Nope, those stayed the same. So
20 is a lot.
I know that.
Wait, how many games are in a season?
Like 25 to 30, depending
Dang,
on
20. What's
depending
20
on postseason, if you make it that far. So
okay, 20 games is like, that's a great season. I feel like, you know, our guys didn't even get 20, did they?
I think so.
They
we had
did
24 games this year, and we had 23 last year. So it depends on the year. And
I meant like wins.
Oh, wins, yeah. It's been a while since
20 is a good season.
It's been a few years since we've had a 20 win season.
That would have been one of your teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how many we had, but it was
how many? Oh, yeah.
probably my sophomore year.
Goodness, whatever, Sharon.
No, but it was just really cool to see all the girls step up. Almost every single person had to play a different position than what they were used to. We only had 2 girls who had significant college experience before this season. So it was a really young team. It was a lot of
lots of injuries.
Lots of injuries, lots of trying to figure out, new roles, new positions, new leadership on the team. You know, so it was a lot of just newness to the team and a lot of forcing them to learn on the fly. And I think the biggest thing is, like, it would have been really easy for everyone to just kind of roll over and give up and, you know, even decide that they didn't want to play the rest of the season.
But you didn't.
But when we sat down after the injuries and we said, you know, what does it take to get through the season? Everyone was very adamant that they wanted to keep playing. Everyone was very set on, like, nope, we can still honor Christ this year, even if we don't win a game. We can still improve, and kind of our focus was to just build that foundation for next year. It was a complete team effort. I mean, all the way from, you know, Maddie and Maya couldn't play a single game, but they were there every single practice. They were invested in the practices. Cool. They were helping lead drills. They were helping run warm-ups before every single game. So, like, they were so invested in the team. There was no sense of checking out just because they couldn't play. Anna and Hannah, those are the only 2 who had played significant college minutes before, and they knew that they were going to be in positions where they had to be the main scorers, be the main defenders, kind of be those main go-to people. And they were, a couple of our captains as well. And so they really stepped into that, and it was difficult. I know I had conversations throughout the year where players would come to me and say, you know, I don't like this. I'm not comfortable. I don't know how to do this. And, you know, nobody ever gave up on themselves. They didn't give up on each other. And by the end of the year, we were able to kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm and, you know, figure things out and at least keep those games close.
That's really cool.
And I mean, Brooke and Nellie were huge energy givers for us with especially the defense. Nellie, I think, ended the season in it was either top 10 or top 15 of steals in the NCCAA, wow. So really steals per game. But just having, like, every single person had a very specific characteristic that they brought to the team, whether it was the high energy, whether it was the defense or the offense, or just kind of all around. I mean, Hannah had 95 blocks this year, which is probably a program crazy. Record, I would assume.
I remember Matt's always talking. Matt was always talking about, like, there's no. Goodness. Yeah,
so there were a lot of definitely very big accomplishments as far as, like, individual accomplishments and just growth where, we didn't necessarily see a lot of fruit this year, but I know it's things that the girls are going to be able to carry into next year, definitely. So whether it's, like, newfound scoring ability or better defense or whatever the case is, like, they're going to bring that into next year, and that's really exciting for me.
And or how many are we graduating this year? None. So that's really awesome that you get like you get a core right now, and then you can build from that core, you know, get that foundation of players for the program moving forward. And that's really cool. And we see that now. We see fruit coming from from all of that. And, you know, with a couple signings that we've had in the past week. Actually, we have one today.
Yep.
Today is Friday. I don't know when this episode will be dropped either. It's
Hopefully
probably
today.
Yeah,
Depends
hopefully
on when I get it up.
It's literally it's up to you two guys. So. But we had Aaron McKenna, and Josie Rhodes this past week, and who's signing today?
Olivia Bailey. She's actually driving up from Kansas City right now as we speak. So
Awesome. Okay, and is she a transfer?
Yeah,
Okay.
So she was at Calvary University for a little bit. She's at a community college right now.
Okay.
But yeah, she's coming in, I believe, as a sophomore, credit-wise. So she's played a couple games. She has a little bit of experience. I'm excited for the energy that she's going to bring to our team. She's going to continue adding to, just the energy, the excitement, the loudness, whether it's on the court or on the bench. So I'm, excited to bring her along as well.
That's really cool. I wish we could have them on the show for just to talk about thoughts of choosing Emmaus. I mean, I can speak for Josie and Aaron a little bit because I'm their admissions counselor, but they chose Emmaus because of Emmaus. They chose it for the Bible, right? They visited other schools the other Christian schools they don't have the Bible, right? They don't have enough of it. While looking at Emmaus and through their visits, they're like, oh, this is a place because they really want us to grow our relationship with Christ. And then basketball just came into play. I was like, I would love to play basketball, and they just happened to have played it through their high school careers, and it's Olivia, right? Yeah. So Olivia, with her and transferring, choosing Emmaus, probably very similar things. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her. But no, that's really cool for the program and everything. But, backtracking a little bit with the season and how it's gone. So you kind of see the fruit now at the end, or some of the fruit, I guess, of the hard work of recruiting and talking to people, trying to bring people in to build that program. But shoot, you guys ended the season with 2 wins.
We did.
We got to talk about that a little bit. Goodness.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because I remember hearing about him. Everyone was so excited here on campuses during conference down in who was hosting conference this year?
Barclay. So it was
that's
Haviland,
so far
Kansas.
away.
Yep, it was
Wow.
about a 12-hour drive. Not my favorite drive.
So it was in Barclay, and got 2 wins. I heard the first win. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, only if we could have ended the season with that win. The next game, I'm like, we'll see what happens. You get a win. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So we kind of, we knew second semester would be a little bit easier for us. First semester, we always, every season we play, some NAIA teams, some NCAA teams. It's more of our regional teams or just the bigger schools. And so first semester is always a little bit more difficult. Second semester, in my opinion, is more fun because we're playing all of our conference teams. We get Maranatha in there once, so there's the hope of spoiling their semester a little bit.
We love that.
And then we have
they tweet at you all the time too.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Except for Emmaus.
And then we have our 2 tournaments as well. Hopefully 3. Some years. But yeah, so we had kind of looked forward to the second semester, and there were a couple teams that we were hoping that we could beat or at least compete with a little bit. And so, we came in, played Manhattan the first game of the semester. They beat us by quite a lot. We played them the second time, and it was a little bit closer. We shot probably 13% overall. It was a terrible shooting night for us. And so...
Like Iowa State a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Or last week.
All the girls were really motivated when we saw that there was a chance that we would play them at conference. Everyone was really excited just because we knew that we could beat them. And so, going into the conference tournament, the week before we had played CCB, and that was our highest scoring game of the season. At that point, we had 62 points. We had never scored.
Balling out.
We had scored maybe 50 a couple times, and so, we just came out. We only had 5 girls that game, so no subs. And, Hannah came out and scored 39 points in that game. I know I don't remember, there were a couple other double-digit scores. That was kind of the main one. But, that was a game that everyone just kind of did what they were supposed to. Bryn played all 40 minutes with a lot of energy, which was really exciting. Hannah was scoring. We were getting some really crucial defensive stops. Biggest issue was that was one of their girls scored 7 threes in the first half. Dang. And so it was it's kind of hard to compete with that. And
Grinnell style.
Yeah, seriously. So that kind of, I felt opened the confidence almost to give us the wins the next week, because it was okay, we can score and we can play really well together. That was really our first game that we had pulled together an entire game pretty much. And so, we came into the conference tournament, played Faith. Faith was a very good team this year. And so they, beat us by a decent amount. We played well against them, though. And when we saw we were playing Manhattan in the next round, we were just incredibly excited just because the girls knew that we at least could give ourselves a shot. And that was the whole goal, was to just, if we can keep them under 50 or as close to 50 as possible and we can, like, score well and run the offense well, then we're going to give ourselves a chance. And so that entire game, there was no sense of just fear or, no sense of giving up or expecting to lose or anything. The girls came out and they started off strong. And they played hard the whole game. And, we were able to not just win, but, like, pull out a close win. So it required people to get stops and to hit free throws at the end and to take care of the ball. And it was really cool to see them be able to put everything together for that game.
What was the locker room like? Or, like, after both games? Like, was it, like, I'm sure, like, after the first game, you guys were just champagne I'm just kidding, but like just like going crazy, like let's go. And then the next game to like have the same like outcome of a win. So like, what was it like as a team for you guys to come together in that moment and having two of your first wins of the season?
It's actually funny you bring that up. So the locker room, after the first win, Madison and I actually didn't even go into the locker room for probably like a full minute because the girls had all the lights off and were having a disco dance party. So we started to go in and then we were like, you know what, we're just going to let them enjoy the win for a little bit, So we let them dance a little bit, cheer a little bit.
No, they wanted you in there with them. They wanted you to join the disco.
Well, then we went in, we kept the lights off, and we danced a little bit, and there's a lot of screaming and yelling and excitement for sure.
Well deserved.
And so, we talked about everything we did well and, the excitement of, okay, we're playing Central. We played well against them last time. We know we can we can do this, especially coming off of a win. And so...
Was it 5th place?
That was for fifth place.
Fifth place. I love it.
Hey, it was exciting. We came in as the 7th seed, and to have the shot at being, number 5 was really exciting for the girls. So
after the second one, was it like same thing pretty much, or instead of a disco party, was it like
not a disco
something
party,
else, like an Inflata Fest right there, and like I got it, like, whatever, I don't know.
No, I think, we kind of talked about, like, the importance of, like, okay, yes, we got this win, and we've been working towards it, but, this is not the end. Like, we're not done yet. Let's not be satisfied with just the one win. Like, let's see if we can get another one. We came out the next morning. It was a 9 a.m. game, which means you're warming up at, like, 7:30. So, nobody was really enjoying themselves. Our men's team, I want to shout them out. They did a really good job of, once they got there, they were incredibly loud. They were really big energy givers.
That's fun.
It was, you could tell everyone in the gym, both teams, all the coaches, all the refs were pretty exhausted. And so having the guys there and, being willing to just be really loud for us gave us a lot of energy for that game.
One Emmaus, like you said, and like that feeds a lot into, all the programs, and you specifically, real quickly, but what are some of like the values of the women's basketball program here?
Kind of what we talked about earlier, our main hope and our main focus is that we are honoring Christ in what we're doing. A lot of what we focused on this year kind of came down from that. And so it comes down to working as hard as we can. I don't have a cute catchphrase or anything like the other coaches necessarily. Working as hard as we can during practices, during games, just like excellence. Whether that's just the effort you're giving or the attitude you have or the energy, things like that, and just not giving up on each other. A lot of that just came out really well in the season. When, someone was having a bad game, everyone was able to lift them up. And there were a lot of conversations we had to have with girls where it's like, no, this is, this isn't necessarily your fault that we're losing, or it's not your fault that the season's hard or whatever. Like, everyone is having rough games, and so you can't let that define you just having one rough game, I don't know. I would say a lot of joy. We had conversations about that as well, about choosing joy even in a losing season, and what does that look like, and how do we make this year good. So
I bet it was definitely a season of values, with the hardship you guys have gone through, the bumpy roads, and then, having some joy at the end, some happiness of getting the win and being able to walk away with a sportsmanship award and everything, and representing Christ, feeling like you did that on the field. And I love hearing like everything about you, like mentioned like almost everyone on the team, right? I think you did, but just the girls, you know them incredibly well. And I love seeing that from all the sports here, but specifically women's basketball, and how you guys have really became a family. And you guys were an encouragement, not just to like myself, but to Emmaus itself, of carrying on through the trials and hardship, and being able to be rewarded in the end. And it's incredibly awesome to have that. And the word says that the Lord will He'll never put something too difficult, for us in our path, to something that we can't overcome. So there's always a way out that He provides. So that's really cool that you guys kind of persevered through all of that, and how much of a relationship you had with all the girls. Super encouraging and awesome. And that's what you'll get here at Emmaus, part of any athletic
yes.
program. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time you'll look at the camera for whoever's watching on YouTube or whatever, and really just plug the program. Tell them why they should come to Emmaus, why they need to come to Emmaus. And you've already said so much here of how you can get a foundation in the Word, and foundation of your relationship with Christ, how you can carry that on to the corporate world, or even just in coaching and in athletics. But why should they choose Emmaus and play basketball for you?
Yeah, for sure. I would say, whether you are a student athlete or just a prospective student, whatever the case is, come to Emmaus because of the school itself, because of the atmosphere at the school. You're going to get an experience pretty unique, where you are studying the Bible and learning more about Christ and growing in your faith for 4 years while you're working towards your professional degree, which is really exciting. Like I said earlier, I didn't know that was possible when I was a student, right? Or before I was a student, when I was in high school.
Look at them.
Sorry. Just kidding. You get an experience where all of your professors, the staff, faculty, everyone who's working at Emmaus, all of your classmates are really invested in your relationship with Christ, in you as a person, and in your growth, and getting you through college and just out the other side successful. And so as far as the basketball team goes, we talked about it. Our focus is on Christ. We really want to honor Him. We want to win, and we're going to win in the future. But we want to do it the right way. We're bringing in girls who are going to be like-minded, who really want to, share the gospel through the game of basketball. Just play well and honor Him well, whether we do win or lose. And just to make it a good experience, because ultimately, sports are going to let you down. Basketball is going to let you down. We're going to have years like this. We're also going to have banner years. We've already had some banner years, but the hope is that you're coming to the school because you love the atmosphere, you love the family that is built, you love the team dynamic that we have, and I think we built a really good culture this year. I'm really excited to have a lot of upperclassmen who are really invested in the younger girls next year, and so it's just a really great experience to have to be on this team.
We want to do it the right way. I like that a lot. I think that sums up a lot of this, our whole athletic program here is we want to do it the right way, not bring in people just to win sports, but bring in people who want to grow their relationship with Christ and then be successful on the field, on the court. That's really awesome. A little longer interview, but I love it. We got to know each other. We got to hear your story. You got to talk to the people about the season a little bit, highs and lows, and the girls themselves and how much you know about them. But now you got to go to Hawaii and you got to do whatever you're going to do there, surf, lay in the sun. I'll be taking care of your cats a little bit with Rosie. But yeah, and thank you for coming on. Really enjoyed it. We want to do it the right way. I really like that.
Yes. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, for you guys listening, fill out the recruiting app on our website. Check us out. Come for a visit. Fill that out too. We really want you to come. We have tons of platforms. Visit us on all our social media. We got Instagram, we got YouTube, etc. Twitter. Follow Coach Sharon on Twitter. What's your handle? Do you got a handle?
Oh gosh, it's @Tomlinson_EBC. I think I just changed it this year to look more professional. So
oh my gosh, okay.
I don't remember what it is.
Well, follow our athletic page and you'll find Sharon on there too. She's posting a lot. They love Twitter. You guys all love Twitter. I got off Twitter, but follow us. Reach out. fill out the recruiting app. We'd love to get you here for a visit and just for you to grow your relationship with Christ as well as pursue an athletic career. Or if you're not an athlete and you just want to come and learn about the Bible and earn a professional degree, this is your place, hopefully. So check us out. But in the meantime, thank you, Sharon, and have a great time.